toilet paper in the bathroom. There was. So I was like, there's no toilet paper in the bathroom. And so he's like, oh, okay, I got you. And so
this is a good story.
Right. And he come to get me the toilet paper, and we end up in the freezer. In the freezer.
I'll cheers to that. Oh, I guess I never had a hope.
Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, and tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. DJ Hamp, Stampede, we in the building. I'm telling you, when we think about our images, black men, black women, we understand that we are often scrutinized or under extreme scrutiny at all times. We realize that the propaganda about us reigns supreme. We understand that our image is painted based on the minority of us that is touted as the majority. And so those of us that appear as a 70% who just chilling and trying to do the right thing, yet we perpetuate BS behavior. We tout things that are unbecoming and make them seem okay. This sexual liberation thing, as an example, has not done us well. It's done us a disservice. Think about it. We're the least married, most divorced or most quickly divorced. The majority of our children are born out of wedlock. We lead in STDs. The top 3 groups are black women, gay black men, black men. We seemingly love debauchery. We call things that should be cool corny. God forbid you the smart kid. God forbid you're well spoken. We look down upon and frown upon. God forbid you're doing well. God forbid that you rise above the station in which you were born in. People start telling you, oh, you forgot about us. You think you better than us. Well, the truth is we should be applauding people. But we're going to take a look at this video here. Listen to Black Woman. A couple people sent me this clip specifically. We need to walk through this, take it slowly and discuss it. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend and tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most.
Free. Is this something that when you saw the character that you were like, okay, I can relate to this?
No, I was very much like, one, I love that it's good writing. When they were asking, like, how comfortable do you feel, like, with your nipples out, or how comfortable you feel? And I'm like, I got this body once. I'm gonna be 25 once. If there's any time I'm gonna have these titties out, it's now. You know what I mean? But for me, I think
No. And this is the problem. We are wasting our youth. And I understand she's on a set doing a thing, right? But how you do anything is how you do everything. 25 has nothing to do with it. I understand that nudity in art can be looked at differently. But I've known actresses who will not take that road because they understand that the imagery is them to an extent. People have a difficult time separating things quite often. Jadakiss said it. Why Holly had to let a white man pop her to get an Oscar. No matter how good she was acting, those sex scenes with her breast out, with her looking bent over, the imagery is all that's talked about, not how well she acted through that movie. Right? And then we'll complain about how we're portrayed, but we have to understand that everything matters. Perception is 9/10. But you being 25 has nothing to do with modesty. We have the game backwards. We acting like, oh, we young, so let's go ahead and just do as we please. Be a quote unquote free spirit. But it doesn't actually work like that. We're waiting too long. We're not growing together. And we have very poor results because of this. Let's keep going.
the biggest part was to try to showcase, as much as I had power over, real queer sex. Like, I love making love to women. I love when women feel pleasure. You know what I mean? It was also important for me to show that femininity in the sexuality as well, and that versatility, because I'm verse.
But we're more hesitant into showing more of ourselves because we are judged. If we see Taylor Swift sleeping with this man and next week she got another man and singing about...
See, this is the thing, right? If it's true, let it be true. But the hesitancy where? If you want to, let's say I entertain the fact that it's propaganda. We give them a lot of opportunity to make sure we're painted negatively. Black women aren't being told anything. Think about this for a second, and this is an anecdotal example. Sexy Red had a lip gloss named Gonorrhea. They've been over-sexualized since I can remember. Bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. You got Luke. All the music videos. The music now, Lil Kim, Foxy, Cardi, speaking for women, black women. And there's very little that black women, or anybody for that matter, speaks out against this unbecoming behavior. You're not being stifled. Let's be honest. And I wonder if all 5 of these women agree with homosexuality. And if they didn't, would they even speak up against it? And if not, that's an issue. It seems like a yes panel. And I get it. I'm sure we have those as well. People probably share those sentiments. But if it's just a yes panel, what are you here for? It's an agenda, but it's a family separating, non-nuclear family centric talking point to say that you love queer sex and they over there snapping their fingers. That doesn't help our families. Regardless of what people do, right? You can't stop them. Carte blanche is what it is. But in terms of how we're seen, that doesn't help us come together, and it doesn't put us in a positive light.
About another man, I ain't never really hear her being called a hoe like Lori Harvey gets called a hoe.
Right.
Yeah. Who I only might have seen. We don't even know she's sleeping with some of these men.
Right.
We don't know what any of these people are
Right.
doing. But it's very sad that it has to always come to the point.
Be our own.
Yeah, you gotta
You
hide.
gotta change that.
Yeah.
Also, though, I think white women just get this privilege that black women or Hispanic women, other women just will never have. White women are revered. Like, there's a whole culture around protecting the white woman.
So many black women have died.
Okay,
And black
men have died behind the
protection
sexuality of a white woman and the protection of, the sexuality of that white woman.
And now they all.
White women tears are real, 100%. I don't know nothing about Taylor Swift, so what they saying could be true. I just know that Lori Harvey has associations with, I think, maybe 6 or 7 men. I don't know how many associations Taylor Swift has. And I think I can get with that point to an extent that there's a protection of that persona more so than the Lori Harveys. I guess I would ask, as being a contrarian or a devil's advocate for sake of conversation, is it because you don't have a bunch of Sexy Reds and the Little Kims and Ice Spices, and do you have a plethora of women, white women, with the sexual nature of how they present themselves? I'm not sure. Answer the question, let me know in the comments. Because what I would deduce is if that's not what's being touted and being put on the plateau in their culture, it would seem as though they have more protection. But that would be because what's being pushed to the forefront for them isn't pure sexuality like it often is for our women. So I can understand that point, if that be true.
All look like light skinned black women to me. I can't tell. Taylor Swift is the last white woman alive. She's the only one I know.
Now, Jesse, you came up with a term. Zozo?
Yeah.
Zozo. Tell me what Zozo, with the Zozo.
Zozo is a penis.
Whoa.
It's a penis, but we say it in Creole.
Okay.
Like, when I first started making content, I did talk a lot about, like, sex. But when I would talk about it, I would talk about either, like, past experiences or experiences from friends. And even then, it was seen as, oh my God, like, why are you talking about this? I'm like, we're all getting angry. And so, yeah, in my culture, it was really horrible to say it. Like, it was horrible, like, as a Haitian girl, to acknowledge that you have had sex. I started having sex at 19, and I didn't tell my mom. Like, she kept talking to me like I was a virgin. And then I was like, Mom, I had sex. What? I come from a very religious background.
Right.
And so I remember, like, I fell into a deep depression, and I went into a revival my friend was having at a Jamaican church. I'm like, I'm going to hell. I'm dying. It's over for me.
Damn.
And he came to me and he said, Miss, God is telling me to tell you to forgive yourself. He's already forgiven you. And I adopted a new outlook on it, but it still took me years to be, like, comfortable with sex.
I think that, like,
especially with your Haitian background, I have a Southern American background, and it has a lot of shame attached to sex, especially for women. And growing up in my household, there was 3 of us sisters and 3 brothers. And so it was never told to the boys to, to treat women well or to be respectful. The conversations were given to us,
of course,
to not be sluts, to not open our legs, to basically to not have sex at all. Yeah. So similar to y'all, I didn't start having sex until I was 20. And I basically wanted to do so because I felt, I didn't feel pretty. I wanted to be wanted.
Here's the problem, right? We have to look at the results and genuinely what people want and genuinely what people want. This is like a new phenomenon to me, so you guys can edify me in the comments, but people want to get married. They just want marriage good, men included. I hear it too often when women are getting older. Now marriage is not so cool, it's not so hot, it's not the goal. But here's what I think. It's a deflection and a cope where the truth is maybe one got away. Maybe you're older and even in your head that marriage is something that you wanted before this age that you're at, right? So then what people do is justify where they are in life. People make sure they judge themselves based off their intentions, but judge each other based off their actions, right? We find a way to make it okay for us to not to achieve the things that we actually wanted. And then we make excuses or we try to downplay. Shame works, but it can't just be shame with nothing. I coach high school football. I tell people, don't cuss them if you don't love them. I will shame the hell out of them kids, but I'll be there to pick them up also. But shame is effective. Carte blanche is destroying us. So if she's being honest and saying that she was taught to be modest, to keep her chastity close to her chest, all praises to the Most High, regardless of what the boys are taught. But now she's saying it like somebody did her a disservice. And if there's young women listening to this, she's doing them a disservice. Let's go.
And so I started having sex as a hoe. I just, was out here in college and just spreading it wide and laying it low.
But most people do that, so don't feel bad.
Well, no, I don't feel bad. It was great. I had a great time.
Look at this shit, bro. Look how dumb this is.
I basically wanted to do so because I felt, I didn't feel pretty. I wanted to be wanted. And so I started having sex as a hoe. I just, was out here in college.
Now watch this, right? She started having sex as a hoe. Now we'll look at the other girl talking about nice. And then look how she caps. Because when she says, I started having sex as a hoe, she understands that has a negative connotation. She looks down upon her behavior. She's ashamed of it. I appreciate the fact that she being honest about it, but she framed herself as a hoe. She was that archetype and she knows it negative. So then the other girl says nice with the baldy, right? And then look how the girl switches her tune because she's getting more bad advice all around her.
And just spreading it wide and laying it low.
But most people do that, so don't feel bad.
Well, no, I don't feel bad.
Most people do that. Shut the fuck up. No, I don't feel bad. Yes, you do. And this is the thing, right? Straight is the gate, but narrow is the way. Many will be called, but few will be chosen. Do not predicate your behavior on the masses, on the majority. That's not what says if it's good or bad. We know that it's going to be a few of us, and hopefully I'm in the us, that are going to get it right. Don't standardize what's right or wrong based on the majority. The majority has always been doing the wrong thing. Shout out to the Tower of Babel. Shout out Sodom and Gomorrah. Shout out to the flood. The majority are going to get cast aside. Don't base your morality and what you do wrong and right based on the majority. You're going to fall short. Let's go.
It was great. Had a great time.
Sitting here with a smile.
Wonderful. It's just so sad.
Yeah, you laugh to keep from crying.
sad that women, especially Black women in my experience, have this shame and this like barrier of religion when it comes to sex.
And the thing is that the religion factor takes the pleasure out of it.
Exactly.
Because it's like almost immediately I'm already
You're
thinking
guilty.
about
You gotta fall
I'm
down
going
the
to
altar.
now I have to go repent. Now I have to go.
And in Europe, they're having a conversation so early. In America, most people have their first time in places like cars, whereas in Europe, most of the time it's in your house, and your mom is like, here's the protection. In America, if you like somebody has a condom, right, when you're younger, it's like, ew, why do you have a condom? Are you having sex?
Yeah.
But in Europe, it's like, why don't you?
Like we
Pure projection and speculation. She can't prove that. That sounds ridiculous as hell, right? And they label religion as a barrier, talking about it took the pleasure out of it. No, what it is you know that your conscience is speaking to you, going against it, right? And you can try to scapegoat religion, but the truth is, you know that what you were doing, you didn't desire it. It was unbecoming, but maybe you did it for somebody else. You did it to rebel, but they caping. And since it's a echo chamber, they're not getting any correction out of it. This could actually be a great conversation. You just had one person say, hey, consider this. Consider that. How did you actually feel? How much do you value yourself? Did those men deserve you? Let's say we flipped it, right? Reverse psychology. Did those men deserve your body? How many of those men deserve to be inside of your body? Think about that. If you say these men ain't shit and they were undeserving, why were they there in the first place? Is it okay to regret something that didn't deserve you?
You need to, and so the culture is just different. The way we talk about it is surrounded in so much shame that we grow up being like, and it's not till we get in our 30s when we're like, actually, I gotta figure out what the fuck this is.
Exactly.
Our people have the most diseases. We got mad kids. We got a bunch of kids out of wedlock. Stop capping. I wish we were being shamed. Nothing shows that. For men or for women, nothing shows that.
Thing too, have y'all moms ever talked to y'all pleasurefully about sex? I realized, I remember one time my mom was like, when you get married, you can live with your husband. We can all live together because in Haiti it's so communal. You live on top of each other. And I was like, no, what about when we have sex and I'm screaming? And she's like, why are you screaming during sex? Right? And I'm like, because I'm coming.
Yeah.
Oh, you said that to your mom?
Yes.
Oh, no, I still wouldn't say that to
I
my mom.
realized that coming was not a priority for my mother.
Yes.
And my mother had 4 kids.
and it came once.
But Tori, that makes me think about you because you have a daughter.
Right.
So do you talk to her? She's not having sex yet, as far as you know.
No, we are very open.
And you
we
talk about-
we talk about everything. I'm the mom that I get to the nitty gritty. We talk
She
about
ain't having
I
no
don't-
sex yet.
And
No.
but was that ever
Yeah, we all superheroes on the internet, remember? We all got our drawers on outside of our pants.
a difficulty for you? Because you
Never.
didn't have that, right?
Well,
You
no,
said your mother.
my grandmother was a minister. 2 aunts are ministers. 3 uncles are ministers.
Talk to me about that.
Your house was the church.
Yeah.
That's why I moved far away from all of them to Los Angeles because I was like, I don't like this. It feels like a cult in a sense. Yes, I used to sneak and do a lot of stuff because I didn't feel like I could talk to my mom.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So therefore, my daughter, like anything she wants to do, I'm like, come to me first, talk to me.
You know, it's funny, right? If y'all look this up when you get a chance, the NLT is a pretty popular Bible. The New Living Translation. Acts 24:14, Paul very specifically says in Acts 24:14, a cult is what I follow. Just the culture of the people. But let's keep going.
Me, anything, I will not judge you. It's an open door for you.
The crazy thing is I had a young mom and I was always like, la 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 la.
She was trying to talk
She
to
was
you.
talking about, oh my God, she was always, and my mom worked at the bar. Oh, she was a
your
hot
mom was- yes.
girl. And so my sisters and my cousins was all f***ing and stuff like that. I was like, I'm not gonna have sex until I'm married. I put that on myself. I'm like, moms are supposed to be in the house cooking and doing, she was outside. My mom was on Cops twice. This was outside. Okay.
No, she wasn't on Cops.
Swear to God.
Not on Cops twice.
Let's talk about it for real.
Right.
Right. Let's discuss the discrepancies. Essentially, she said, I'm 25. Of course, I'm going to show my breast. So when did she have these proclivities? 14? And that's what I hate, right? Like if we start drilling down into it, if 25, you knew that was a time to show your breasts, when were you this modest woman? right? You congratulated the girl for calling herself a hoe because you're saying hoe is positive when she meant it as negative initially. It's funny.
Yes, and she has in 2019 she passed away, right? But before she did, I feel like we were mending or getting closer to each other.
Right.
But I love that woman because I feel like I am as bold as I am because of her.
Right.
I don't have that shame, and I feel so accepting of people because of that.
But it all makes sense though. Even like when I think about myself, my mother's an ordained minister. So when I sit here and listen to what everybody's saying, we all have that common ground where church was in our household. So maybe that's where our shame towards each other starts coming out.
Like, you can't shame people out of being sexual.
Right.
Like, that's just it's not gonna work.
Do you think it's necessary to have a whole phase throughout?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
within
yeah.
your-
You do. I agree on that.
I have been
Watch this, bro. Do you think it's necessary to have a whole phase? They're saying yes, yes, yes. People lie when they say body count don't matter. People know, that's why they act like they forget it. They don't share it. They hold it close. The deflection is to say, men don't believe you anyway. Regardless. If you said it doesn't matter, then you could share it, regardless of who believes you. And then here's the problem. Women will generally say they believe in soul ties. So if they believe in soul ties, what happens if you continue to give yourself to men who you say ain't shit and don't deserve it? What happens at that juncture? Now you tied to men who ain't shit and don't deserve it. So then you're saying have a whole phase to do what? We have the statistic that says 70 to 80% of women don't even orgasm from vaginal sex. So who are you doing it for? Men that you say ain't shit and don't deserve it, that have no intentions for you. And then you get with a man who has full intention for you, and you wish you can give him everything, but you can't because you already gave most of it away. Everything matters. Every rep matters. Wear and tear matters. And I'm not saying the vagina won't feel the same to the man you marry. I'm saying wear and tear is wear and tear. If you believe in soul ties, they're soul ties. Imagine regretting somebody that you sleeping with because you say they ain't shit and they don't deserve you. Then you finally find a man that deserves you and is shit, and you wish you could give him everything, but you can't because you gave most of it away to somebody else.
been with this guy for 5 years, so I wasn't really having sex with a lot of people. And so for one summer, I said, I'm gonna do whatever I feel in the moment that I feel it. There was this time where I was at this bar having this meeting with this girl, and this bartender was just giving me the eyes and just kept giving me these blueberry mojitos or something. And the bar was kind of empty. So I was like, I'm gonna go use the bathroom. And I'm like, there's no toilet paper in the bathroom. There was. But I was like, there's no toilet paper in the bathroom. And so he was like, oh, okay, I got you. And so
this is a good story, y'all.
And he come to get me the toilet paper, and we end up in the freezer. In the freezer.
I'll cheers to that. Oh, I guess I never had a whole face then, because what in the... Come on.
I'm gonna have sex in the freezer if I want to have sex in the freezer.
Sometimes.
You know what I mean? Now I could get down. I got a sex positive family. Okay. I come from a sex positive mother. I'm 1 of 7. She got all different daddies. Okay. Maybe it's crazy.
Oh, okay.
Now why you
What we doing? Y'all think that's cute? Like, y'all think that's funny? Y'all cheers that she had sex with a man she didn't know in the freezer? So I guess her and him got condoms on deck. He at work. He go back there to bring toilet paper. You think he grabbed his wallet? You think he grabbed his coat? She running around with condoms. And she just caught the eye of the bartender. She was fully prepared. What about the rest of the speculation that should matter? And then you cheers to it, right? And then she threw shade at her. She said, I ain't never had no hoes fade, but I cheered at that shit. What are you talking about? You don't actually agree. And I get it, it's a show. But how far are you willing to go to prove a point? How much do you have to believe in your point to prove it or to back it? Or as long as it's good content, you cool with it. And then Shorty, who felt bad that she was a hoe in the first place, putting a battery in her back to continue that conduct. This is trash, bro. It's disheartening. It's sad. I wish I knew what I know now. People don't understand the desensitization, man. Right? If you have experience with a lot of people, you start to compare, you start to contrast, you start to judge. And then the thing is, you should be with a person, but they may never be your best sex partner. And then that convolutes things in your head, that clouds your judgment. Because you had too many experiences and they don't have any value. Then you become desensitized and insatiable. Then how are you with commitment? This shit snowballs. These things aren't siloed.
I'm gonna catch a straight line.
She know what it is.
I feel like it's totally opposite for me in the sense like I really do agree that women should have a hoe phase. Every time I've tried to have a hoe phase, I always run into somebody with a very small penis.
Oh
Every
my
time.
God, that's awful.
And it's just like, I feel like that's
You a hoe, so
God.
move on.
Yeah, no, I can't. I can't. I remember last year, literally, I tried it back to back. I was like, okay, Lord. And
That's
mind
it.
you, I was down in Jamaica.
Just-
You don't have no small penis in Jamaica.
Jamaica.
Jesse, we want to know. Jesse, we want to know.
How
we
small is
want to know.
Yeah, how
Oh,
small?
He was too small.
And I had a whole
on
phase
the
later
location.
on in life because I got married super young, and so it's like it's kind of hard to hoe at 40. You know
No,
what I
it
mean? Like
ain't.
it's a little harder to hoe.
I know a lot of hoes.
I'm
All the hoes is 40 and over.
It's just harder. Like the pickings are slimmer. You know.
But I want to hear about your whole face.
I'm in the middle of it.
She just said she had one. She was hoeing in college. So now what we saying is, okay, boom. So she was hoeing in college. She's still hoeing. I don't know if she was ever married. Lady in the black trying so hard to fit in. She's talking about, I had a hoe. Shut up. No, you didn't. You was married. Now you saying it's harder. You can't even hoe if you wanted to. So now the big girl been hoeing. And let's be honest, bro. We already be knowing that the big joints, you could call them at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. They'll drop work. They'll call out sick. They'll come over on their lunch break. They won't even eat to do what you ask them to do. You never seen outside with her. You never kiss her on the lips. She can't just stop by. She can't come run up to you and say hi and shit like that. They are relegated and slotted to the lowest slot possible. Why you think the mantra is big girls give good head? They gotta practice on shit. Niggas ain't doing them just because. You're not just going to her, oh, I want to. Nah, she gotta do something extra for you to even go there with her. But this real funny. It's real funny. I'm glad she laughing. It's really funny. But see, when people get in their bed with the cold pilly, the other side of the bed is cold. What's their real thoughts? She was hoeing in college. She in the middle of a whole phase now at 40. Start listening, man.
Make some noise.
Now, mind you, peep though. The one with the blue, she said she never had a whole phase. Message.
We gotta support our sister. Come on now.
No, I love a good hoe phase. I'm a believer of after a breakup hoe phase.
Nice.
Yeah, especially that. That was my last one before this one, which was really great. A Jamaica hoe phase, which was great. I booked a solo trip, but at one point I had gone and got a massage, and I came back to the bar, and then I turn around and there's this like Winston from the house.
Winston.
Like muscular, chocolate, white teeth, everything was working, and I wasted literally no time. From the time that we met, it was until the time I was walking with him back to my room, it was maybe 15 minutes.
Wow.
That to me is hope. That to me says hope.
It's funny we talk about this because you said something on your page, Jerry, that was like, you want to be the gigolo. Don't let me miss
I remember that
the
shit.
gigolo of helping women learn.
Now watch this, right? When you actually ask women, when you had the conversations, y'all seen my discussions, very seldomly do they admit to one night stands. And now they sit up here clapping and applauding. This is not empowerment. You leading people to destructive behavior that they will regret. And then you try to shame religion out of people. When the truth is that'll keep them more whole for the long run and the long term. This is crazy.
The pleasure.
So,
is that what it is?
Nice that you mentioned that. There's a lot of women who have not experienced pleasure.
Yep.
Right? It's something about giving women the power to know, hey, this is not actually what I like. And also the language to say, actually, if you go down and you go this way, that's gonna get me right where I'm going. But if you never are with a person that you're comfortable enough exploring that, or even have had the chance to have somebody open the conversation up, you're not gonna know that.
Yep.
And so let me come suck your tell you what's working. You know what
Oh, so every woman though? Because you said every woman.
I don't want to
You said every woman.
Where's the sign-up sheet for that?
And I'm like, is the whole phase over, or are we in it?
No. I'm currently not in my whole phase. I'm currently not.
No, but I'm
in the
saying,
phase.
can we sign up for the service?
Where the suck?
I'm gonna tell you right now, I think that there is room for edification from our parents in terms of sex, sexuality, what it's for, what's the goal, who should be blessed to have you in that way, given the time and when it's supposed to happen. The construct that sex consecrates is the key though. Because marriage, sex coincide very directly, biblically speaking, since the majority of our people at the very least come from a religious background or baseline. Right? So the edification about sex is far beyond what they talking about. They talking about pleasure. Pleasure is a part of it. Read Song of Solomon 2. They was getting busy. Right? But the entire construct of sex, what it produces, what it's for, what it means, how valuable it is, that's the edification. Before you get to any pleasure or any BS that they wanted to discuss. But yo, look at the messaging in this clip. Nobody's sitting here. I don't want to say nobody, but the overwhelming majority is not sitting here saying, hey, daughter, conduct yourself as such. Because then in the same world, they'll say, you have to protect yourself when going out on dates. You have to share your location, send somebody a text, get his license plate. He can't pick you up and drop you off. And they talking about 15 minutes later, come to my room. 5 minutes later, after you serve me blueberry mojitos, come have sex with me in the freezer. Everybody should have a whole phase. And then they'll contradict themselves talking about the dangers of dating, the dangers of dealing with men. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't coincide. So here's what I ask. Be responsible with your words and even more responsible with your actions. What would you want your daughter to do? How safe would you want her to be? How much would it be valuable to her to sleep with the man that also loves her, willing to kill and die for her? Not the man where she can't remember his first or his last name. Man, I appreciate y'all sending me this, but this one, man, this is tough, bro. Messaging matters, man. Be responsible. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Be safe and do the right thing, man. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend and tell a friend. And I'm out.